Hello, family. Today is Friday, January 24th, and I come to you on tonight to make a nice heaping pot of gumbo. But first, I'm going to go over the ingredients too, and what you're going to need to make this particular dish. Now, on tonight, I am actually going to be making this from scratch. But if you don't have that kind of time and you don't want to go that route, bam, you can also use this right here, and it will come out just as tasty. But being that we're going old school on this one on tonight, so I'm going to go through the ingredients too in which to make this particular dish. First, we're going to start off with shrimp here. I have shrimp here, and I also have another bag back there. I'm putting about maybe around about 2 pounds of shrimp in this. I also have corn there in the back, to which I have about 8 ears of the shorties, not the long ones, the little shorties. It's fine. We're gonna put about 12 ounces of okra. Now, one thing about okra, my kids dig it, but the sliminess, I'm kind of, the verdict is still out on that. So to keep okra from being slimy, if you're gonna put it in a dish such as this, then you can put it on a cookie sheet and bake it in the oven for a little bit, and it'll keep it from getting slimy. So that's just a little tidbit that I want to share. Also, I have about a good 3 pounds of Alaskan king crab. We also have about 2 pounds of chicken that I have. It's boneless, skinless. I like thigh meat, so I'm more partial to the dark meat as opposed to the white meat. So I have about a good pound of thigh meat here that I have deboned. And, excuse me, that was already boneless, but I just kind of, cut them in, little cubes. Here I have some Hillshire Farm sausage. I'm going to put about 2 ropes of that in here, but just for show purposes, this is just 1 rope here. And the other one is here, okay? So this one here is just a regular, and this one here is turkey. Same sense, but just this one is turkey and this one is the regular. Also, I have 2 onions cut up here that are ready to go. Back here in the back, I have 2 celery stalks here in the back. Here, we're going to be using the gumbo filet. So with this gumbo filet right here, we're going to use about 2 tablespoons of this. On this thyme right here, we're going to use a good teaspoon of thyme. We have a 1/2 cup of unbleached regular all-purpose flour. It takes 2 to 3 cloves of garlic, but this is already minced, so I have, when you're doing minced already, about a 1/2 tablespoon equates to 1 clove of garlic. So I have a heaping 1 tablespoon, which I would say on or around about 3 cloves. I have 1 teaspoon of crushed red pepper, and I have a 1/4 teaspoon in the back here of parsley flakes, and I have 4 bay leaves here as well. So I will go over these ingredients a little bit further as we get started. Let's go. Okay, family, to begin, what we're going to do is we're going to begin sauteing. I am simply using canola oil. Okay. I did not measure that, as you can see. I'm just pretty much eyeing it. But what we're doing, we're simply going to saute the onions, the celery, the chicken, and the sausage. As well as the crushed red pepper, the parsley flakes, and the garlic. And we're going to begin sauteing that. Okay, family, we're going to begin to make our roux. After you have sauteed your meat mixture, you want to push that kind of to the side. And in the same pot liquor, we're going to take our half a cup of all-purpose flour. And the key to this is you do not want to burn this flour, okay? You want it like a nice brown, but you don't want it burnt. Because if you burn your roux, your whole dish will taste differently, and you don't want to do that, okay? So we're just going to kind of brown this slightly just to get it just a little brown. Now we can begin to mix that all together. Being mindful not to burn it, so turn it down very low because you don't want to burn this. It will definitely change your taste. So you can't walk off and leave it, none of that, okay? And all the whole while, you want to continue to kind of stir it, flip it over and such. Anything at all possible to keep from burning your roux. After about 3 or 4 minutes, your roux is going to turn a golden brown as it is. Now you want to add your okra. And we're going to add our bay leaves. And we're going to continue to saute. Family, we're going to be preparing our gumbo inside of this roaster pan. Now, what I have done is I have about 7 cups of water that we have to bring to a boil. But I also like to add a little chicken bouillon onto the water, and it just adds like an extra little kick to it. So I'm just going to add just 1 packet onto this and allow this to come to a high boil. Okay, now what we're also going to do is I have some tomato sauce. Now you can use like whole tomatoes in a can, but my kids aren't too partial to tomatoes. So I'm just going to add just tomato sauce onto this. And we're going to bring that onto a nice little simmer. I have filled this cup twice. This is my second. This is about 3/4 of the way. And so just to take out that extra tomato sauce, just to add to that pot liquor, baby. We're going to bring this up to a boil. Okay, there's no better time like the present to begin adding our seasoning to this. So we're going to put about, I don't know, about a good teaspoon and a half of black pepper in here. But I'm just kind of eyeballing that. And then you want to add about a good tablespoon, believe it or not, of salt. But if you do use that Louisiana seasoning packet, just be mindful that the sodium content of that is kind of high. Now, I am big on Lawry's seasoning salt, so instead of salt, I'm going to add Lawry's. I'm going to add about a good maybe about a good teaspoon and a half of that. And we're just going to season it to taste. So if it still needs to come up a little bit in taste, then you add some more as you go. But start off little and you won't mess up your dish. But if you start off with a lot, then it's hard to bring down that salt content or that high pepper content. So start with a little bit, season it, taste it, see where it's at. If it's not up enough, then you begin to add. But until then, just go in small increments. Our broth is now ready for our meat mixture. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to simply just pour that on in there like so. Okay, now we're going to add our corn. Now, this will thicken up because the roux is going to thicken. You can thin this out as much as you want to thin it out. If you want it very thin, then just simply add more water. Now, you do not have to add the tomato sauce or the tomatoes if you do not desire that. That is simply an option, but it just tastes a little bit better to me. Once you have added your corn into your gumbo mixture, you want to reduce the heat and you want it to come to a slight boil. And you want it to cook slowly and low for about 30 minutes. Apply your lid and let it go. Okay, we're going to begin adding our crab. Now you can add as much crab as you want to. This is simply for my kids, so, and they're going to play in it anyway, so, but if you're making this for, some grown folks and a lot of people, you can, build it up as much as you want to. But for kids, what can I say? Allow this crab to cook for about, say, we're gonna go with about 15 minutes, and then the remaining 15 minutes we're gonna add the shrimp, but not yet. So allow this to cook with the lid for about 15 minutes. I'm gonna add about a teaspoon of thyme. Okay, all of our ingredients thus far has simmered in these juices and have marinated for a good time now. So now what we're going to do is I have cleaned the shrimp, and now I'm going to add the shrimp onto the mixture. You always want to put your shrimp in last, because if you cook shrimp too long, it will become very tough. So you want to simply cook these until they begin to turn pink. Once they turn pink, they're done. But you don't want to cook them, too long, because otherwise they're going to be too tough to eat. You don't want to do that. Once you have added your shrimp unto here, I want to be crystal clear and say that you want to turn the fire down really low, because if you do not, your shrimp is going to cook too much. So turn it down very low, almost to a simmer. And as long as this pot lick is hot anyway, it's going to still cook that shrimp. But you just don't want to overcook it. I can't be crystal clear enough. It's been about 5 minutes. Now I'm going to add my gumbo filet. I'm going to put about 2 tablespoons of this in there. So I'm just going to be real liberal as far as sprinkling this here on the top here. I can't find my spoon to turn it over. Hold on, let me get my spoon. Basically, you're just flipping everything over. Just turning things over. And if your hands are clean, just go and put them on in there. And turn these guys over. Flip these guys over. Just make sure your hands are clean, That's everything when you're cooking. Is to have a clean field and you're not giving anybody nothing that has been cross-contaminated and all those types of things. So just make sure you just have a clean field. But we're just going to flip these guys over a little bit. I'm going to put the lid back on it and I'm going to let it go for about 30 minutes. This is how your crab should, excuse me. Okay. This is perfectly done shrimp. This is the way it should look. It is done. Hold on, Egypt. Looks like I'm gonna need a ladle for the juices. Now, I have to say that my son made these biscuits, and when I tell you that they are absolutely scrumptious, do you see that? My son made them, and they are so off the chain. So, let me go and get Senior fed. Throw him a couple of these guys on here. Bon appetit, family. Love you guys. Love you guys for watching. You guys have a wonderful weekend. Good night.